indeed. Listening to the video, I mean, listen to the whales holler here.
Yes.
Underwater sounds of the humpback whales.
I don't know by the speakers. Very deceiving underwater. Now, our humpback whales are pretty solitary animals. The longest and strongest relationship is the mom and calf. Now, these competition pods can last anywhere from a few minutes to a couple hours. If only we could see what they were doing below the water. This is when these animals get very aggressive, kind of like a wrestling match. They can smack into each other under the water. Occasionally those head lunges or chin slaps that we saw earlier can come down right on top of other animals. They can get scraped up and bloodied up. I saw a couple weeks ago, it was right in front of the boat, one animal was doing a fluke up dive, so its tail was out of the water, and another animal did what was called a peduncle throw, or when they thrashed their tail out of the water and it just knocked over the other animal. It was very exciting. Looks like there might be some bubble blowing over on 3 o'clock as well, or was. You can see that coming to the surface, that lighter color. Now, occasionally we get the question, are these males fighting to the death? And they are not. And they're pretty interesting. The way we know this is this was maybe 10, maybe more years ago. There was a research vessel with a competition pod off the coast of Lahaina. And very aggressive behaviors. And one of the animals actually did die. But it was thought that it was something more along the lines of a heart attack. It wasn't from an injury sustained from the other whales. And I've actually seen video of what happened. And the competition pod abruptly stopped, and then all the other males kept one after the other bringing the dead whale up to the surface to breathe. And they stayed with that animal, trying to have him breathe, bring him up to the surface over and over again for hours. It was really, really wild. There's also a pretty cool, I believe it's a National Geographic video. Oh! Competition pod, very aggressive, and at some point, a female and a male probably snuck off. That happens sometimes where the competition keeps going and the females disappear and the boys are so realize what's happening. But as the female was gone, these animals that had just been pushing each other around, fighting to get closer to her, all of that stopped. Alright, moving pretty quickly across the front of the boat now. And they were very kind of sweet with each other and gently swimming around each other, sort of almost caressing each other. There's that bubble trail as this animal surfaces. So it looks like at least, I'd say,
Three or
animals
four.
here. photo was taken from a pole camera. So they had the camera on a pole and stuck it underwater. And they thought that they had been with 8 animals at the surface. That's how many they counted. And it wasn't until later and they got back and were looking at the pictures that they realized just how many whales were there. So it's hard to say just how many whales are making up a competition pod. Only a guess. On the surface. Alright, moving right across the front of the boat. Still have this one animal at the surface at our 11 o'clock. There he is. Or she. Yep, at least 4 animals right now. You can see that bubble trail being blown right now, trying to block the visibility of the male behind him. Right below the surface, 12 o'clock. Oh. Smelly whale. Wow.
1, 2. They're everywhere.
It's like, where do you aim your camera? Alright, I'm gonna hop off the microphone and let you guys enjoy this, but let me know if you have any questions. At least 5 whales now. And it looks like we might have, oh, there's that jaw clap inflated head lunge at 12 o'clock. Looks like this competition pod might be splitting up into 2 different groups now.